Hello. Today I'm going to talk about practicing. And a lot of people ask me, what is the best way to practice? And the answer is whatever works for you. So I would love to hear from you. All the things I'm going to talk about today are based on my observations and talking to people who have been successful with changing their speech. And I ask them, what are you doing? How are you practicing? So please, I'd like to hear from you. What are you doing? Is it working for you? Would you recommend it for others? The first thing is to set a reminder. However you want to do this, whether it's on paper, it could be a post-it note on the mirror, it could be something on your calendar handwritten, it could be an app. There's a lot of apps for reminders. I've tried Wunderlist for one, and there's a lot of choices out there, but find one that works for your type of phone and is easy to use. Something that you will use is the key. Because you know I'm crazy about Google Calendar, I have tried using the set a goal. So on the Google Calendar app, not the browser version, when you click on create a new event, you can also choose goal. And I like this because it doesn't matter which of these exercise, build a skill, which pretty picture you click on, they all pretty much do the same thing, go to the same place. If I choose a skill, choose a language, choose English, the next step is asking how often do you want to practice? And this is something you should consider no matter what format you use. And the choices they have here are once a week, 3 times a week, 5 times a week, or every day. It also has more options if you want to do uh, more variety or every single day. And I'm going to choose every day. Then another option to consider, no matter what format, is for how long. A consistent duration is important. It starts to form a habit more easily. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, or 2 hours. And really, for practicing speech, it doesn't need to be a chunk, an hour out of your day. Even 15 minutes, which is what I'm going to choose here, is enough to remind yourself and maybe reset your brain to think about, I'm going to pay attention to where I'm putting the stress or to how much range I'm using. That's what's most important. So now the choices are morning, afternoon, or evening, or any time. Some people like a consistent schedule. I want to do this first thing in the morning, or I want to do this after lunch because that's when I get tired and the second half of the day I'm not so aware of being careful with my speech. I'm going to choose any time on the Google app because I like the fact that it will choose my calendar. It will look on my calendar and find an empty spot. And hey, Christy, you've got 15 minutes. You can do this practice right now. I think I'm more likely to do it if I see it on my calendar. The second part is record that you did it. Have a checkbox, even if it's a mark on your calendar, your paper calendar, your agenda, or anything, or create your own. Do you know bullet lists or bullet journals have become very popular lately? And to me, it just seems very simple and straightforward. You're making a list of things to do, you're crossing them off. I like that. It's a satisfaction that I had a goal and I stuck to it. I did it. And even that momentary, immediate reward is satisfying. And you can build upon that and start to build a new habit. The third thing is review. By keeping track and making these check marks or keeping a list of all the times that you practiced, you can look back and see a consistent pattern. This is helpful if you haven't been making progress with your speech, and then you look and see you haven't been practicing, there's a correlation. Or you see that you have been practicing consistently, and now it has become more of a habit. It may be easier to remember to do those things that you are working on. Maybe pronounce a certain sound, the sound, or increase your range. So I think the reviewing part is also very motivational. Look, I've practiced for 3 days in a row. I don't want to break my pattern. I'll keep going for 5 days. So whatever can keep you moving just one day at a time, setting your goals, that's helpful. And then the last part is report. Report how you're doing. This can be in the form of observing other people, and I highly recommend even old school paper notebook. Anything. It can be notes, it can be verbal notes. Keep a voice recorder journal on your phone. Use the note feature on your notepad on your phone. But observe what other people are doing in their speech, and good and bad, and keep those notes. I've had people that bring their notes to me, so in our next meeting, they can ask me, I've heard people that I work with answer the phone and say this. I'm not sure what this expression means or how to use it. Or I overheard somebody say this and it doesn't make any sense to me. Why would they say that? Once I talked to them, I realized, oh, they didn't understand the connected speech and it was misunderstood as something different. So whether you bring those to me and we're discussing them, or you're just making observations about, yeah, I hear people always say it this way, that's very good for you to notice, this is happening, everybody's doing it. If I do it, it won't stand out as unusual. Also, record your expectations. What do you expect to happen if you try something new? And then when you try it, how did it go? Record the positive results, the negative results, and if they're negative, what will you do differently? Why did you think that happened? Remember all the variables that are involved. Was the environment noisy? Were you in a restaurant? Could you hear dishes and glasses? Were there a lot of people talking? All of that influences how easily you were understood or maybe how you spoke. So the reporting part could just be for you. You don't have to share this with anyone, but keeping notes about the attempts that you made, the things you're observing in everyday life around you, can really be helpful for keeping a record of how far you've come. And by the time you get to the end of the book, you can look back and see things that were confusing for you 3 months ago aren't now. Things that you tried that didn't work for you in the past, now you don't even think about. So that can be very motivating. These are the things that I've seen work for other people. And if they work for you, that's fantastic. Please let me know. If you have something else you'd like to share, then please let me know so I can share that with other people. Thank you, and I hope to hear you practicing in the future.